Welcome to our series where we dive into the world of creepy and unnerving TikToks. Join us as we analyze and unravel the threads of conspiracy and peer into the matrix. Let's get started.
There's a video on the internet that's got everyone talking. It was shared by a Reddit user named no_adagio 6743. A lot of people online are discussing and wondering if it's showing something real, or if it might be just a trick. The video begins with what looks like a regular day out on a boat. Someone is using their phone to film the water and the surroundings in Ontario, Canada. It seems like a regular, fun day on the boat. But as the video continues, things take a surprising turn, and what happens next has left everyone guessing. Watch this.
Ibogaine is from the iboga tree, and it's essentially a ruthlessly introspective 24-hour trip that rewires the way your brain views addiction and has a high level of effectiveness in rehabilitating people, like just killing the desire to do opiates.
Are they doing that in America?
Mexico. Gotta go to Mexico. Can't go to America. It's illegal in America. There's my buddy Ed Clay. He got hurt, got on pain pills, had a real bit hard time with them. Went to get on Ibogaine to get off the pain pills. It worked like a charm. You can get your life back. And it's not something you get addicted to. It's apparently something that you have a really hard time doing it again. Ibogaine seems to be deeply, to the cellular level, introspective. And there's some sort of a physical action that happens in the way your brain looks at addiction changes pretty radically. I think all those things should be done in places where people are going to feel safe and where people have done it before and where people have experience with people that have done it before. And having a real center that has real professionals and medical health staff, that's what you want. And the only thing that's keeping that from happening in America and keeping millions and millions of people from getting off pills
Drug companies.
Drug companies.
Yeah.
Drug companies lobbying to keep all these very helpful things illegal.
And, Terence McKenna would sometimes talk about psilocybin as an invention of mushrooms or as technology or as being synthetic. And I don't really agree with that idea.
An invention of mushrooms?
Or he would sort of say, this is as synthetic as a Coca-Cola bottle. This is like alien technology. That's how he would describe psilocybin. But in my opinion, it's, it's a pretty simple derivative of tryptophan. You just decarboxylate, methylate the nitrogen twice, and then add this phosphate ester. But Ibogaine, that's a crazy molecule. That's like a three-dimensional thing that no medicinal chemist would have ever discovered. That, if there's, not to sound mystical, but that it strikes me as some sort of plant technology. I mean, it's an amazingly complicated structure. It's so complicated that it's almost impossible to synthesize. In fact, it can't be synthesized commercially. All the Ibogaine that people use has to be extracted from plants because that's the only way to get it.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of the forbidden secrets of the Vatican exorcist and demon? In 2010, Reverend Gabriel Amorte made a shocking accusation that he believed the devil resided in the Vatican itself. The Reverend was 85 years old in 2010, and for 25 years before that, he was the Vatican's main exorcist, a position that most people may not realize. For all those years, Gabriel Amorte treated 70,000 cases of demonic possession, which is a staggering and incredible number. He holds people with ropes tied to their beds, then recites prayers to expel demonic entities from their bodies. It was a big shock, because one would think that with so much exorcism, we would hear something about it in the news. However, his demonic possessions were almost completely stifled by the church. Most people had never even heard of the official Association of Exorcists, a club of priests charged with the mission of defeating the devil. According to Gabriel Amorte, in an interview with the Italian newspaper La Repubblica, the devil is invincible, explaining that the devil can be hidden, speak many different languages, and can sometimes transform spiritual objects, requires 6 or 7 assistants, just to keep the possessed man in bed while he vomits nails and shards of glass. About the devil in the Vatican, the priest said that evidence is everywhere. He looks well, though he does not mention any names. He says that the work of the devil is evident.
Pour profiter d'autres faits intrigants,
He believes that
abonne-toi.
cardinals have no faith in Jesus Christ. Bishops have alliances with Satan and all evil and corrupt races within the walls of the Vatican itself. Now, to enjoy other intriguing facts, subscribe.
Rich Americans owned such high-tech houses more than 100 years ago. This rare video taken in 1922 records real scenes in the homes of wealthy Americans. Its ultra-modern design concept and various high-tech household equipment. It's simply beyond ordinary people's imagination. What appears in the shot is a private home elevator. You know, this was more than 100 years ago. Many countries don't even know what an elevator is. This bookcase is also equipped with a telescopic robotic arm, seeing a man pressing the button on the table. At this time, the robotic arm will push out the desired books, although not very practical, but it was very advanced for that era. What is even more exaggerated is that there is actually a remote-controlled bathtub hidden in the bedroom. As the man pressed the remote control on the wall, the bathtub follows the track below to reach the bed, and when the man finished using it, the bathtub will also automatically return to the place where it was placed. As the man flips the switch, the bed placed in the bedroom was stored away. This not only greatly saves floor space, the most important thing is that the bed will not get wet when taking a bath. When the man walked out of the room with a rich man, the man flipped a switch at the door. The door quickly closed tightly. Then it continued to fluctuate. The door was quickly opened again. Then the two of them came to the billiards room. Men and wealthy men leisurely play billiards in front of the camera. These billiards that have been punched into the hole will travel up a pipeline on their own, thus automatically collected. And when this game is over, just press the switch lightly. The telescopic rod will automatically organize the billiard balls into a triangle shape. This allows you to quickly start the next round. At noon, as the small wall at the back of the restaurant is opened, a small train came in carrying delicacies prepared by the maid. It's so convenient. After the rich enjoy the delicacies, the little train comes in again. Then it carried the plates one by one along the track back to the kitchen. At this time, after getting the plate, the maid in the kitchen just put those dirty dishes on the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt will then automatically move the plates to the automatic dishwasher for cleaning. After watching this video, what do you think?
Reptilians. The reptilians are an ancient biblical race, and even Satan is a reptilian. This is why he is known as the serpent. Reptilians look like humanoid reptile-like beings, possessing slit pupils and ranging from green to white. The white-skinned reptilians are the highest class reptilians. I believe this is the kind of reptilian Satan was, because he is regarded as a very high-class angelic reptilian, aka a serpent or dragon, and these white-skinned reptilians are known to have wings, unlike the lower-class reptilians which don't have wings. Reptilians are an advanced class of angels that have shape-shifting abilities which they accomplish through either holographic technology or by means of vibrational hypnosis, in which they can manipulate the human mind to see them as a human being outwardly. Some of these beings even genetically alter themselves to appear more human. When these beings were sent to Earth, many believe they went underground in the inner Earth, while others believe that they are among us now in their shape-shifted human form manipulating society. Proof that these beings' shape-shifting abilities are biblical is because the Bible says that Satan can shapeshift into an angel of light. The reptilians are a part of a planned planet takeover known as the New World Order. This is a secret planned infiltration with the ultimate goal of controlling all of human society, which they will fail due to humans being protected by God and much more powerful angelic races that we will touch on in another video.
They won $2 million by cheating at roulette using a completely legal technique. You're about to see, it's truly brilliant. In 2004, a Hungarian woman and 2 Serbian men walked into the Ritz Casino in London with a clear intent to rake it in. They had with them a cell phone fitted with a laser scanner and linked to a mini computer. This device gauged the speed of the ball, its drop point on the roulette, and the roulette's spin speed. After the analysis, the computer gave them a span of 6 numbers where they were almost certain the ball would land. Players are allowed to place their bets on the table as long as the roulette hasn't made 3 full spins. All they had to do then was quickly place their bets on these 6 numbers. Thanks to this method, they pocketed the equivalent of $145,000 on the first night and returned the next day to cash in a whopping $2 million. Naturally, the casino filed a complaint, but the regulations only prohibited meddling with the roulette's physical mechanics or touching the ball. Thus, the 3 cheats were able to keep their winnings. Such a technique is impossible to replicate in the United States, since the law bans the use of any equipment in casinos that could compromise the element of chance.
Is it truly possible that there is a network of tunnels underneath our feet that the elite use for human trafficking? Now remember, Maria Farmer said that Epstein had tunnels in all of his residences because he himself told her. Let's go back to his infamous island for a second. The Daily Mail reported that $100,000 worth of cement was rushed to his house just weeks before his arrest. He was also on the advisory board of Lifeboat Foundation, a company specializing in safeguarding humanity, which hosts programs such as Life Shield bunkers.
Hello.
Hi, is this Lifeboat Foundation?
Yes.
Which are massive, house-sized, underground living spaces.
No, we don't have any actual bunkers. It was just an idea by one of our board members. So we have like 1 page devoted to it on our site. It's not even like a primary goal of our organization. Our primary goal is to protect humanity against existential risk.
What we've come to learn. The Greys can make blonde bodies and reptile bodies and project themselves into the blondes of the reptiles. The reptiles can make blondes and gray bodies and project themselves into the blonde and the gray bodies. The blondes can make the reptilian bodies and the gray bodies and project themselves into it. And he said, Linda, what I've just said to you is the key to the history of this planet.
Right.
That the competing extraterrestrials can camouflage as each other's enemies.
Right, and that...
Do you believe in time travel? At 11:25 p.m. on June 15, 1950, visitors in Times Square, New York noticed a peculiar man around 30 years old, dressed in an odd outfit believed to be popular during the reign of Queen Victoria nearly 100 years prior. He seemed extremely confused, like a lost person, constantly staring at the bustling cars passing by. Suddenly, a large car rushed towards him, causing his immediate death. Upon examination, investigators found a series of unusual and bizarre items on this man, including a letter sent to Philadelphia in 1876, 70 old dollars that had been discontinued, and a personal business card with the name Rudolph Fentz.
The most puzzling thing was that all these items were very new and showed no signs of decay, even though they were at least 80 years old. After searching through missing persons records, the police finally found the daughter of Rudolph Fentz, who was then 80 years old. She recounted that in 1876, her father, then only 29 years old, mysteriously disappeared while on his way to mail a letter. Afterwards, all investigators were stunned into silence upon learning that every description from age and appearance to clothing of her father completely matched with that peculiar man.
What a shock. He was able to calmly eat steak underwater. This is a true image taken 100 years ago at 30 meters underwater. He claimed to come from the underwater world. According to his description, there is another human world under the sea, although living in the ocean, but the speed of development is no different from that of terrestrial humans. Journalists naturally won't believe such words, so he started verifying. He infiltrated the seabed in front of numerous journalists. I thought it would come out in about a minute. It wasn't until the photographer followed with an oxygen mask that he realized he was playing the violin. At this point, he has been underwater for 5 minutes. But judging from his expression, he still remained calm and composed. According to Guinness records, the longest diving man in the world persevered for 20 minutes. Maybe he's just good at diving. Just as the reporters were still questioning, he started eating underwater. From the floating spoon, it can be seen that this is indeed underwater. He cut the beef with a knife and put it in his mouth. You should know that eating like this underwater inevitably leads to water being consumed in the stomach together. But he doesn't seem to have inhaled water. It looks very relaxed, and the most crucial thing is, he seems to be able to see the underwater world clearly. You should know that ordinary people can't even open their eyes when entering the water without goggles, even if it's open. The view of the underwater world is blurry. It's very difficult to send meat pieces into the mouth without distinction. Eat a few pieces of beef. He still appears very calm. At this point, it has been underwater for more than 10 minutes. Does he really not need oxygen? This is obviously not in line with common sense. According to his description, their skin can filter out water and absorb oxygen. That's why they can stay underwater for a long time. What do you think about this?
Hello and welcome back to the series Celebrities You Didn't Know Were Kidnapped. Today we're talking about the insane story of Buffy star Charisma Carpenter. Yes, I'm drinking for this one because it's a doozy. So it was 1991 and Charisma was just 22 years old. She was swimming with two male friends on San Diego's Torrey Pines State Beach when she was approached by Henry Hubbard Jr. Now, Henry's day job was as a San Diego cop, but in this moment he was wearing a nylon stocking over his face and he was wielding a gun. He forced Charisma out of the water and proceeded to SA her, but her screams alerted her two male friends who were swimming and they ran over. It was then that Hubbard forced her at gunpoint to tie up her two male friends, but the guys were actually able to rush the off-duty cop. Hubbard shot both men, one of them in the stomach, and in the chaos of it all ended up shooting himself in the hand, which at that point he ran off. Both men ended up living, and Hubbard was actually caught later because he went to the ER covered in sand, having wounds that matched the police description. This even included a bite mark from Carpenter, though Hubbard claimed he got it after being jumped. The nail in the coffin was that Charisma actually picked up an official police flashlight from the scene that had Hubbard's name on it. Hubbard was sentenced to 56 years in jail, and this was the end of his month-long crime spree where he SA'd 8 women in total. And Charisma actually hosts a show now called I Survived Evil on Investigation Discovery, where she is an advocate for survivors. She claims that years and years of therapy have actually helped her become an advocate for those who have also faced horrible crimes.
They giggle. I would say, am I out of my body? Where am I? And they just laugh. They go, and I thought, are they laughing at me? But they never saw their faces. It was like a hood over them. But I could always see their robes and the golden rope that was wrapped around them. And I knew it was gold. You could feel it. I don't know how to explain it, but you could feel everything. You could feel the textures of the clothing in a different way. So when it all happened, after that, I went into the hospital. I was out. But when they pulled the Gertie out of the ambulance and it hit the road, it jerked me back into my body. And I was back in. Now I'm in pain. I'm a total afraid because you're back into your body real strongly. And I remember as I was going down, I could see all the lights going through the hallway, they're taking me into the ER. And I thought, this is just like the hospitals that they show on TV when they're on the gutter and they're running them down. This is exactly like that. So it was just a different kind. You didn't have an understanding, but yet you had an understanding. And then my friends came in and I didn't talk to them. I just would do, with my eyes. And then I remember going in, this is what the nurses got, because I'm on the floor, I'm on the table. Now, my doctor that came in, he bent down to me and he had a pencil in his pocket and he bent down and the pen dropped. There's no way I could have seen that pen. There's no way. I was laying down. So I saw the pen, but I saw his Kohan shoes. And I used to wear Kohan shoes and they're $300 a pair. And the first thing I asked when I woke up from there, I said, do I have to pay for those shoes? Because he didn't put his little booties on. And the nurse went, how do you know that? I said, I saw it. And he lost his pen and you all didn't even pick it up. And she went, oh my gosh. You know what I told them? After I learned all this, I said, you all need to go in the ER and put some pictures or something up at the top that says, you're not in your body. Go back in your body. I said, and people will feel that. And they said, you are serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. I said, you need to tell them because you've got to get them back in the body if you're going to try to heal them.
Thanks for joining me down the rabbit hole today. Like and follow for more. Stay weird, people.